can get it off with a team of horses. This will positively lift 100 pounds. There's a pail of water weighs 50 or 60 pounds. That's the way you pick it up. But there's one more tool. I'll be all through and I'll be finished. Oh, now the next tool and the last one is what they call the Cherry-Buttermilk cutter. This was invented by the head chef of the Imperial Hotel in the city of Berlin, Germany. You place the screw into the center of the vegetable. Twist the vegetable until the threads catch a hold, then you wind this up. You keep winding until you utilize the whole potato. The faster you turn, the quicker the slices. Why, ladies, here's a machine for slicing onions. The first onion that you slice with this cutter, you'll bless the day you've got a hold of it. Every slice cut exactly the same thickness. Every slice cut the same size. In making what they call a rosette, pull the vegetable out like this. Pin the ends together with a toothpick. Drop that potato into the hot fat and fry it. That will come out like a donut, golden brown. If you're serving a nice fish dinner, a little parsley goes in the center with the fish all around it, makes a very appetizing dish. Did you ever try to slice onions with a knife? You know how you get one thick slice and one thin slice? Run the knife through the center. That will separate each slice individual. Almost like magic, there is every slice cut exactly the same thickness and the same size. Wouldn't you like to have a set like this in your kitchen? Why, of course you would. Now don't forget, attend this theater every week and receive this 12-piece fascinating... Ladies and gentlemen, the management of this theater takes great pleasure in making this announcement. To each lady attending this theater each week, will receive absolutely free a fascinating 12-piece kitchen cutlery set, one piece each time. It is really interesting and amazing to know how you can prepare your meals in an appetizing and pleasing manner. There's an old saying, and a true one, that what is pleasing to the eye is bound to be pleasing to the appetite. I'm going to demonstrate this set to you, and I want you to watch it very closely. The first cutter that I'm going to show you, now this first one is known as the Parisian cutter. Wind it through the potato like a corkscrew. When the cutter appears on the opposite side, pull the cutter out. Place the handle in the center and twist it out. This is what they call a French curl. When you fry these, they come out like donuts, nice and brown. Serve them with your steaks or pot roast them. Unwind it, there's two curls out of the one potato. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, wind a little strip of bacon around the potato and serve them with bacon and eggs. They're delicious. Different colored vegetables, wind them together and you get the two colors. Here's a little trick cut. Split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. Upon my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you start to eat them. Now the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly, stuff it into the center of the potato and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in two. Serve them on the half shell, just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a beak piece like that. Now the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this. Drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast. Why, they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champeen Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat. Once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these. Cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here's a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water. Why, around canning season, when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I really know you'll enjoy having in your kitchen, known as the safety grater. No doubt you're familiar with the old-fashioned grater. I've seen ladies take a grater and rip the knuckles off. When you want to grate up potatoes for delicious potato pancakes, this has a smooth, flat edge, impossible to cut yourself. Just like you were washing clothes, you rub it up and down, and you really grate your vegetables real fine, retaining all the flavors and all the juices. breadcrumbs for when you're serving veal cutlets or anything like that. You want a little breadcrumbs to fry your fish in? Why, there's the greatest proposition in the world. Use that for coconut, cheese, or horseradish. When you're through with it, just hit it down like that. That knocks all the food out. Rinse it out in a little water and hang it up and let it dry. Now, here is a stone made of carborundum and sapphire quartz, which is made purposely to keep these knives sharp. When they get dull, a few strokes over the edge like this, and you can put a keen cutting edge on it. If you have a dull knife or a dull pair of scissors, an old sickle or a scythe, a lawnmower, cleaver, an axe, there's a tool that will really put an edge on the knife so the knife will really cut for you. I just want to give you an idea of how sharp that knife really is when you sharpen it with that stone. Ladies, I've seen some of you try to open up cans. Now, there's a can of Campbell's baked beans. I've seen ladies open up a can and you poke a hole in it, go around the top, hippity-hop, and your finger slips. Let me show you a real proposition. Look, lay it on the can, lift up the safety, and turn the key. That locks itself on the can. No harder than you were winding up your watch. Wind up the key and that'll cut the top off of the can slick and smooth. Notice how the end raises itself up in the air so you can lift the lid off, giving you a clean, smooth edge. Now that can be used for sardine cans, square cans or round cans, exactly the same way. Now this tool here, my dear friends, needs no introduction. This will save you on an average of $20 to $30 every year you use it as a peeling knife. Here's a grater for cheese, coconut, or horseradish, a fish scaler for scaling your fish, and when you're coring your apple, it's just a slight twist of the wrist, and there's the apple core. There's one more tool that I want you to see, and I want you to watch this one very closely. Many a times when you're baking a pie, you have a pudding in the oven. I've seen ladies wrap a towel around your hand, and many a times
Hello everyone, how we doing this afternoon? Sorry there was a little delay because I was watching my repeated stream and not my actual stream. Doing 2 dishes tonight really. I mean, we got some wine to sip on, and I'm going to do a little bit more work with, I've got a much larger piece of pork out here than I need just for our main dish, but going to be doing stuffed cabbage. And first time attempting this myself at home. I think I've done this before a couple of times commercially, but here at home doing my own stuff, it's different. So we're gonna stuff cabbage leaves with rice. I've got some jasmine rice here, and I've got a big piece of pork here. Gonna chop up some pork. Gonna put some nice. I'm gonna try and put some nice thin slices of pork as part of the roll in these too, and a little bit of onion. And so that's what we're going to be stuffing them with, and then I'm going to be simmering those and finishing cooking all the pork and everything all together with pork stock, that last heirloom tomato that I still have kicking around the kitchen, and some tomato paste, some of the other usual suspects, a little sauteed onion and carrot in there. Let's see what else, if there's something else I can throw in there with the braising liquid just to make it a little bit more interesting. And after I get this all going and in the oven and cooking, I'm going to take those cherries that I pitted earlier in the week, or I think that was maybe even Sunday, and I'm going to make some ice cream with the buttermilk that I have left over in the fridge, those cherries, and it's not going to be that traditional ice cream base, but we'll see how close we can get it and see what we can create here. I haven't tried making ice cream with buttermilk before, and so it should be interesting with the added tang, especially with the cherries and all that good stuff. And so, wow, this knife is just a sticking. So I now have music. So if I think that's a little loud. There we go. Anyone's out there lurking, and let me know if they think the music's too loud or too quiet. I'm gonna leave it for the VODs to sort of self-diagnose. I'm so horrible at listening in my stream while I'm doing it that you're supposed to stay attached. Making a poor show at cutting my onion here now. Maybe I'll just use half of this for with the stuffing. And I'll save the rest of it for with the braising liquid. I'm sort of adding the onion to the center of this too. It's not the recipe that I'm generally following here is doesn't have any onion in the actual stuffing. Alright, let's skip that. Let's put this in here properly. Let's get the pan heated up properly. I don't know why I was putting this over here. Already got a pot over here for water. And I was just about to fill that up. I'm going to bring this up to a strong simmer here while I'm doing everything else. And that's going to be used to cook our cabbage. And cook the outsides of it. And then peel it after it's cooked. What am I doing? I said I was going to heat this up and then I throw all the onion in there. I am just not with it today, apparently. There we go. So, flame on there, flame on there. We got a little pork stock defrosted already from earlier, so that's good for our braising liquid. Got another jug of water here for our boiling. That should be good right there. Actually, let's just use for water. Thank you for the host chaos. I think that was before I got started going here, but it's the last thing on my list, so. And I didn't say it earlier. Welcome to anyone that's hanging out with me tonight. Bit of oil. Sunflower oil, probably the only sunflower oil I'm going to end up using tonight. We're going to be using lots of this stuff. Yum yum. So I get this guy to cut up here a little bit here. I'm going to butcher him up a bit. I'm going to take this bottom piece of meat here and turn that into a small little roast. I'm going to take some of the skin off the back here, and I'm going to use most of this for the stuffing today and some of the fat. But I'm going to see if I can get some nice thin slices of meat, and so I can do a wrap of cabbage with a thin layer of pork and then our rice stuffing. Just to add that extra layer to it. pan is a bit hotter than I expected. That pan heated up quick. So I think I'm going to slice the rest of this for in with the braising liquid. Take that stem out. Making a mess here. That onion's already smelling good in the pan. I'm hungry today. I haven't ate anything all day. Those fritters were good, but I ate them. Okay, so now we got this. Let's set that aside and we get a bowl for that. Save that for later. Gonna have to cut some carrot up later here too, but I'm gonna get this pork going because I need that ready. Okay, so we're going to take this layer of fat off in between here, which mostly just pulls off, but get all of that off there. Right, this seam down here to where we get down to the fat. And then I'm going to go down into the fat, but give myself more here to wrap the outside of this guy. Make sure I'm not going too low here. That onion's probably getting too hot now. Oops. Got the heat on that for right now. I finish up this pork. There. So now we got this guy that we can wrap like that right there. And so I'm going to thin out this back end here. But that's looking pretty good right there. That's going to be a nice looking piece of meat for maybe dinner next week. Well, might have to adjust some plans here. I don't know if I'm digging this song. Okay, we got a decent amount of fat here too, so I'm going to thin the fat off of this side too. Especially down on this corner over here. So now we got, other than that one little spot there, how are we looking on that side? That side, I think we're okay. Put this over here, excess. We can just give that a nice roll. And I'm going to be lazy about this. I'm not going to pull out the butcher twine. I am going to pull out my silicone roast ties. They're essentially a silicone rubber bands, and they are just in this package. There we go. So I'll just take, let's do 4. Let's do all the yellow guys. Rethinking other things in my world right now that I probably shouldn't be thinking about right now. Hopefully everyone out there is having a lovely day. I'm having a pretty good day otherwise. Not everything's right in my world, but I don't think many people's world is very happy right now. Okay, so that'll be a nice little quick roast meal. Practically just finish that off in the pan. In fact, I actually vein the idea of sous vide this little guy. Maybe a quick little sous vide project that would be nice. So, if it wasn't for the fat that I just wrapped it in, that's a pretty lean piece of meat there, so. Take advantage of my warm water over here. It's basically at a boil now already. So he's just gonna go in the fridge here for a little bit, and we'll deal with him maybe Monday, Tuesday actually. Be an extra dinner for me for the Twitter feed, since I am not leaving home right now. Let's do a little rice here with our onions that we started sauteing earlier. We're gonna need that for our filling. So I'm gonna do a cup of jasmine rice. What are they saying their ratio, their rice is? 1 to 1.5. So there we go. Add a bit of salt and pepper for flavor here. And just a splash of apple cider vinegar too. Since I'm not using any citrus or anything in this, I do want a little acidity. Let that simmer. Actually, we'll bring that up to a boil. We won't simmer it. That wasn't a very good cleaning job, Jason. Get rid of this. Two guys that got a little bit too dark here. The rest of that's going to be great. Put a cover on that, let that come up to a boil. Come back over here to our pork. Continue taking this slab of fat off of here. Fat. So now we have the start of our loin, which I boned when I took this off the pig. Well, there's a bit of bone right there, though. It's amazing, even just doing it by hand. There's still chips of bone all over the place. You know, they used a hacksaw for it. It's not like it's that big of a confusing setup. Okay. So we're going for some slices here, but I need to start off with a nice flat face. Let's see if we can't do like 12 nice thin slices of pork here. That guy didn't count. One, two, three. I just realized this is probably looping for people. Maybe that's a little bit better, huh? Where it's not, the music's not looping. Maybe I should have had my headphones on after all. Why, hello. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for the raid. How did the cupcakes turn out? Sorry I had to cut away from your stream there to get ready for myself. Working on sort of a pretty big project here. I'm going to be doing stuffed cabbage leaves along with... Cut the fat down on that guy. Stuffed cabbage leaves along with some ice cream. Ice cream's going to be later on once we get the cabbage leaves all going. Thank you for the raid. Pizza Cat Posse raid. Let's see where we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, awesome. Got what I need there.
Cheered Dex 5.
So the rest, well, not all of this. Well, we'll see how much I get out of this. I'm going to be chopping up almost as if it was ground pork, except I'm going to chop it. First time toying around with using the music, so if it's too loud to anyone, let me know. I sort of want it just sort of in the background to sort of everyone hang out and chill here. So what I'm planning here is I sort of did some thin slices of pork by hand here, and I'm going to actually use these as going to do a layer of cabbage, thin layer of pork, and then our traditional filling with our rice, which is now a boil, and some onion. So that'll be our stuffing, and then I'm going to do a braising liquid of, I've got pork stock that I've made previously on stream here, and along with an heirloom tomato that's been kicking around for a little while, a little tomato paste. See what else we can figure out to throw in there. Also got some Cab Sav to drink tonight. Bourbon barrel aged. I think I've had this one before on stream. I've definitely had it otherwise. And in past times that I've had it, it's been decent wine, but not my world's favorite at the same time. But I'm buying it again, so that should say something. Thank you. Yeah, I've been toying with that the last couple of days. So, Dreamer's Arcade, thank you for blowing up my room, my stream. And thank you for gifting them a sub, Kirby, I appreciate that. Enjoy that chef emote and ad-free viewing. Continuing to just chop this all up here. Don't need all of this fat though, so I'm going to cut the fat down by about half here and toss that over there. I've already got a decent amount of fat off of this guy that I've pulled off, so, and if you're, I don't know if I finished this up with you guys around or not, but I already made a nice little small roast loin off of this same cut. I took some of the fat and wrapped it around. So that'll be a nice, probably quick dinner for Monday or Tuesday off stream. I'll throw that up on Twitter. Nice. Thank you, Kirby. Thank you. Always looking to improve, so I'll take any comments or suggestions. This knife is getting rather dull at this point. I keep complaining about it. I've been complaining about it since I butchered this pig, but still haven't gotten around to sharpening it apparently. And yeah, I'm gonna take all the fat off this guy too. I don't need all this fat in here with the rice and everything else. I just hate, I've already rendered so much, I've already got like a gallon. If you guys are new to stream, Kirby and some of you other guys know that I've butchered a whole pig on stream here back when I was on Mixer, and so which is available on Patreon. But I've got over a gallon of lard at this point, and so when I keep pulling out pieces of fat like this that I don't have uses for, I'm just a little like, more fat? And I'm also hand chopping all this because I don't have a grinder. So I didn't make any sausage, I didn't make any anything along that line from the pig. Still got lots of shoulder meat to go through. I'm going to be having all sorts of, I think, braised barbecue pig and stuff in my future here. I still got a whole nother ham leg to break down too. Although I'm still enjoying that jerky from that first one. It certainly was a lot, it lost a lot of flavor after that first week. I was surprised how much flavor the jerky lost. It was amazingly flavorful that first week, and it's still great now, but it's nothing like it was that first week. And I'm wondering if I put it all in one bag, and I'm sort of thinking that maybe I should have done a couple of bags or something. I don't know for sure, but oh, it's still got flavor. It's just, it's mellowed out so much. Especially, I was getting a lot more of the marinade and the soy and the garlic powder, and that just, it's just all flattened out now. Yeah, and I certainly got more to experiment with here. I'm definitely going to be making some more pork jerky here, although I'm trying to make another month or two in between this batch and that one. Okay, doing okay there, doing okay here. Got that going. Cheers. We'll deal with this later. Need my cabbage. We're gonna need true of celery. Parsley. Skip the cilantro, we need some carrots. Thanks for stopping by, Kirby. Thanks you for the raid there, Dreamers Arcade. We'll leave that up for right now. We're gonna set this aside, gonna clean these so we don't cross-contaminate. Even though pretty much everything that I'm handling right now is gonna get boiled. It's not too much of a worry of cross-contamination, but better safe than sorry. Yeah, we'll take pork and set that off to the side here for when we're ready with everything else. Celery rinse here. I'm just being lazy about this. Got my peelers over here today. Peeler's one of those ones that I just keep putting in different places every time. Sometimes it's in this drawer, sometimes it's in this drawer. For the ice cream later on that's in the plans here, I've got cherries that I've previously pitted, fresh cherries, and I'm going to use those along with some buttermilk that I've got chilling around in the house. Sort of half trying to use these two up. I had other plans for the ends of both of them that neither really formulated, but it sounded like a good combo to give a shot to. I haven't tried making buttermilk ice cream before, and I thought the tang might make it interesting. Might screw up the science of it too, though, but I don't know. I am planning on adding a little bit more butter to add to the fat because I don't have a whole bunch of heavy cream around the house. So, stick around. It could be an amazing failure or just an astounding success. Who knows? Let's cut these guys in half first. Yeah. I don't know if he's gone already, but for anyone here that may not know, Kirby does do miniature painting on stream. Great stream to go hang out and chill out in, relax, not stressful at all. And hopefully Dreamers Arcade had some or is about to have some tasty cupcakes here. They made on stream earlier. This is all going into our braising liquid for with our cabbage with it once it's all wrapped. Awesome. I did a quick and easy Nutella mug cake like 2-3 months ago. That turned out great too. I think I gotta try those cupcakes here at some point too. Okay, gonna boil my cabbage here now that that's water's up to a boil here, and take the stem out. This guy's been kicking around for a little while here, so he is not the freshest of cabbages, but it'll work. As carefully as I can here, just carefully cutting in sort of in a wedge around the core of this guy. And didn't quite get them all out, but that's going to be enough to get a couple of leaves out of that. Evening, Pew. Let that simmer here in the water until those wisteria leaves get nice and soft. Making stuffed cabbage and ice cream tonight, Pew. We're just finishing up the stuffing here and just about ready to get started on stuffing leaves. And once I get that all together and simmering and cooking, I'll do the ice cream. Wasn't really planning on peeling them off there, but that guy just wanted to come off. This one's working that way too. And if they're gonna come off easy, I'm gonna take them. That guy's a thickin'. Okay, now we're getting a little more sticky here. I think I'm gonna... Well, let's see here. See if I can't keep the water pushing them off. That's been working pretty good here, even though it wasn't the way I was originally planning to do this. I was planning to let it cool and sit here and... Yeah, I'm gonna let it cool now. I don't want to overcook all of it. Hey Midget Hot Dog, how you doing this evening? Sorry when I'm facing the stove, I don't know how long you've been here, but can't see Chad as well when I'm facing the other direction. Howdy, McLean. McLean just being in here reminds me that I didn't tweet this morning, or this afternoon when I started. Welcome, Bubba. I don't know why I say Bubba like that, it just comes out naturally like that. I'm not a southern man. Give me 1 second here. Slow at typing on my phone. I'm slow in typing, period. Okay. Better almost an hour late than not at all, I guess. How's everyone doing this evening? Hopefully everyone's doing well. I'm having a pretty good day. I'm just trying to carefully pull these leaves off here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. I was hoping for 12. I don't think we're going to get to 12 here. First night working with the pretzel rocks and the music there, so if it's too loud for anyone, or let me know. I'm gonna have to listen to the VOD myself here to give my own opinion. Oops, we're getting a bit cold here. I think I'm gonna throw this in the bag in our boiling water here. Cool, cool. sort of awesome how they just sort of peel off with the heat. I wasn't expecting that at all. Attached. Boiling water on the hands feels great. Before I switch back over the other counter here, we have some rice with some onions here that can allow continue to cool here. It's going to be part of our filling here. Set that back there. Go back to the board here. Hello, Spicy. Welcome. How you doing this afternoon, evening? I'm gonna do a little bit more surgery here to the core. Leaves are all sticking now. Got cabbage leaves here that I'm sort of carefully peeling. I'm going to be stuffing these with ground pork that I've got sort of hidden up here that I cut up earlier. And got some rice on the stove. And later on, after these are all simmering away in their braising liquid, I'm going to work on making some cherry buttermilk ice cream. How you doing this evening, Evangeline? I think I've seen you in here before. Or have I seen you somewhere else? Thank you for the host view. This guy ain't coming off as clean as the others here. Awesome. Sort of odd, like, these are still hot. This is cold to the touch right now. Just the... Like, this feels like it still came out of the refrigerator right here. I have that problem a lot of the time when I don't plan ahead. I didn't used to plan ahead in my streams like hardly at all, but now that I have to do buying ahead of time, it's become more and more of a plan ahead thing. I think that's about all I'm getting out of this as far as nice fillable leaves. And so I'm going to throw the rest of this back into the fridge and use for something else here in the near future, hopefully. Oh, I can kill the heat on that. That'll help the temperature in the room. Or that my veggie pan where I'm not worried about it all being wrapped and clean, because toss the veggie pan when we get new veggies. And so from here I'm going to take heavy stems out of these, whether they've been cooked or not. This guy is like raw still compared to my board's covered in water too. I don't know if that comes across on stream or not. What'd you make last night? That's sounding tasty. Now see me, I'd be like, that was awesome last night. What can I do to make it different? Change it. I'm never happy with my end result, whether I say it's a fail or not. Everything. There you go. Sausage. Towel, get rid of this water. Pan here for bowl. Pan going. Do a little lard in the pan. saute off a little pork here that I chopped up earlier. This is my hand chopped version of ground pork here. And then we got the slices for later on. Yeah, it is really, and I actually, that's the primary reason that I slaughtered a pig here on, or not slaughtered, I didn't, but I butchered a pig here on stream, is buying in quarters, buying in halves is really most economical solution for me right now, especially with me wanting to do quality meats that have been raised in a humane manner. I know exactly where this pig was raised, less than 20 minutes from me. I know who butchered it, or I know who slaughtered it. I know who butchered it too, obviously, but I have a lot of problems with our meat industry right now. Here in the US, I'm not sure where everyone's from. I know I get a fair number of UK and etc. viewers from my stats. Yeah, here in the U.S., it's becoming either you're buying incredibly poor quality meat, in my opinion, that's raised for the lowest dollar possible at the store, or you're having to jump through tons of hoops in order to get it from someone who's putting time and care, and it's going to cost more. Hit that with a bunch of salt there. Want to be able to taste that with all the rice and everything else it's getting mixed in with. I am cooking the ground up part to it, but I am also doing things considerably different, ways that would not be considered Polish at all, and I'm using thin slices of pork that I'm not cooking that are going to be on the outside of it. Well, rather inside the cabbage, but outside all of this loveliness here. Okay, so that's all going in here with our... My cabbage is blocking my cutting board, but this is all going in with the rice over here. No, I haven't done this dish a whole lot. This is really, I was saying, I don't think I've ever done this at home myself before. I've done it, I think I've done it in restaurants before. I've definitely done grape leaves a bunch of times, but which is similar but not. Yeah, well, I'm going to fully cook the pork, but what I was getting at is I've already cooked this pork that I've mixed in with the rice, and it's going back into the stove, and that's what she was getting at. Okay, stuffing time. This guy is going to be my toughest one here. This guy isn't even... I got rid of my water too. This guy is like not flexible at all for this. But, I need to add parsley to this too. I am just all out of place. No, I haven't even heard of that one before, but sort of an unfamiliar recipe to me to begin with. I mean, I've obviously had it, seen it, and just quick stealing a couple of leaves here from the parsley, give us those little greenage in the mixture here. Incredibly dulling to the blade there, what I just did, but my knife's already dull. And while this is going here, I'm going to get the onions simmering and veggies simmering for our braising liquid. So, onions that I sliced earlier. Not going to add a lot of fat in here. I'm just going to rely on the non-stick of the cast iron for this first part. Trying to break them up a little bit as I throw them in there. Original recipe had chives in this. Again, I'm out of chives here at home. I wanted a little green. I've got the parsley and stuff. That's the major reason I'm using parsley in there. Original recipe is chives. Although I have no idea if the original recipe is authentic at all. So while that's hanging out, I'm going to open a bottle of wine for the evening. Nice particle board cork going there. Throw that with our collection over there. Nice, dark, rich, purpley red. That's quite yummy. Yum, 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 yum. Jammy. It's vanilla, a lot of plummy, dark fruit flavor. That's yummy. That's better than I remembered it. Man, it's a good reason I picked it up again. Add in our carrot, celery. And we're going to put this all in that pan after we're done with that. Trying to plan out my steps here to make sure I'm not messing stuff up. I'm going to use up this guy just because I have him sitting around. He's obviously been around here a little while. He's sort of flat on his top. My knife is dull. It slices tomato better than a ginsu. Mine aren't so happy. They're growing, but and there's tomatoes. But I don't know if they're all that happy. I don't think they're I don't know if they're not getting enough water, or I don't know. I am not a gardener. I keep trying, but seems like most everything I planted this year is dying. Mine seem to be producing pretty well, and they've grown up nicely. They're 3-4 foot now, but and they've got tomatoes, but all the leaves are getting curled. They're all looking like they're drooping. I've been watering it, but you don't want to water tomatoes too much. Yeah, I don't think just about anything I planted this year is happy. some of it's working, but I got one really flavorful oxheart carrot, which, if you're familiar with oxheart, they're like heart. They're big, bulky. They don't grow in a spike like your typical carrot. Are being drowned, or as in you're drowning them with water because it's been so hot, or yeah, I've been forced to manually water just about everything in my place now. Don't know if it's my landlord or if the people in the house in front of me don't like me or what, but my half of the yard and my gardening bed seem to get deprogrammed all the time, and so I have to go outside and turn them all on manually. There you go. That's the plan. So we're sauteing this down almost to mush here. This isn't going to be pretty veggies here. This is going to be cooking sauce. Practice makes perfect. Alright, so let's see if this is all cooled off enough now that I can try and do this. So, piece of pork. Handful of pork stuffing. Like I said, this one's going to be messy because it's the first one and it's the least malleable. We'll use that as our worst case scenario, I guess. I'm not a huge mint flavor fan myself either. I go for it every once in a while, but it's not my... I'm actually not typically that big of a pork and or mint and chocolate fan. Sometimes an ice cream, but otherwise I do like me an Andy's mint. Oh, okay. I don't think I've heard that about mint calming the stomach. A lot of herbs are viewed as digestives and good for that, but there we go. Now we're getting into some nice looking wrapped cabbage leaves. We're not even going to bother with that guy. These are going to be pretty. Probably going to have rice left over here. I think I did almost double the amount of rice, and I'm stuffing these pretty good even still, but arancini balls or something along that line. I haven't done any fried. I haven't done that at home before. That'd be fun to do someday. If you guys have any ideas that you guys would like to see me try here on stream, I do have that suggestions tab on my Discord. So you're welcome to hop in there and say hello and make any ideas you want to see done known. Or I also have a video section there if you think I've done something wrong, want to show me the right way. Like little mini burritos, cabbage burritos. Yay! Hey, Big Davy. How we doing this evening? Working on wrapping up some cabbage rolls here, or stuffing some cabbage. Got some veggies back here going. Got some rather mirepoix with a little tomato, maybe a gonna add a little tomato paste now and pinçage that. I don't know if that's still properly pinçaged, but a fair amount of. I typically go pretty heavy whenever I pull out the tomato paste. I need to turn my oven on here because I'm not going to simmer these on the stove. 325. Thanks, Davey. We got our, on the stove here, I've got the start to my braising liquid or sauce for our stuffed cabbage, and I'm working on rolling up the cabbage. Haven't even started in on the ice cream yet. I am going to add my pork stock to this now and cut the heat because we don't need it all that hot right now because I got to finish these up and put them in there. Then we can heat it up. Where are my scissors? Straight tomato sauce is probably a bit more authentic for this recipe. But I've got pork stock and I don't got the tomatoes. So, altering our recipe here a bit. We'll allow that to continue to hang out here. That was maybe a little loud. Sorry if that was too loud for you. Allow that to hang out. We'll finish wrapping these guys up. I see someone found my Discord, but I can't look at it right now. Or I heard someone notice my Discord. Which also means I forgot to turn my speakers off in the back. I think this guy a bit fatter than the last couple. Good. Shooting for 12 here. We'll see if we get all 12. And I'm trying to use up the rice, even though I've got more rice than I probably should have here. Heard that too, by the way. Still not checking it. It's good I turned it off on my phone though, because otherwise I'd be hearing it right here. This guy may be challenging too, he's pretty stiff. So I think I got my 12 rolls here, maybe. We'll see how this guy turns out. He may be a bit ugly. But I had 12 slices of pork here, and I still got 2 or 3 pieces of... Yeah, we're gonna ditch him. Use one of these guys that's a little bit better instead. I also didn't put any egg in my filling, as wow, that guy's not going to work either. I didn't put any egg in my filling either. Often people put a egg in there to bind things up a bit more. I think I'm going to live without it fine here. Just remembering that now. Mm-hmm. Alright, so did pretty good on rice. A little bit left over, but that's snackable here. You weren't lying about spamming it, were you? Or do I have a bunch of people talking? That's cool too. Does that come through on the speakers? Can you guys hear that? I know when I don't have anything going on, you can hear my keyboard back there. I've set my computer up to be AFK when I'm doing stock and stuff like that in the past, and gone back into the back and hear myself typing. That is just yumminess. So we're gonna call these guys casualties. You can find other things for these. I've thrown raw pork in 2 of these now, so I'm not gonna worry about that. I need to make a little room here and pull the pan over so that I can fill those up here real quick. We'll get that in the oven and I'll start making ice cream. These guys just going to set them all on top. Oftentimes you'll see them put them in a casserole and then pour the sauce over the top, sort of like their enchiladas or something. But I'm just going to allow them all to simmer all together. Pack them in as tight as possible here. We don't got a ton of pan space here. Might be trouble getting all these guys in here. Oh, cool. Yeah, I've spent quite a bit of time here, both when I started on Mixer and again here when I started on Twitch, to just try and streamline everything so I don't have to worry about it again. So, these guys are going in the oven for approximately an hour now. So, going to be a little bit of a late stream here tonight. We're an hour and a half in here, and we're going to be taking another hour here until we're done. Didn't quite fit this guy in there. So, going to have to figure something out with that. I'll throw this with the other scraps. And into the oven for all of these guys. Oh, yeah, not quite into the oven. We need to cover those. Need a little foil on this, because otherwise that cabbage isn't going to be looking too pretty when we're done. Oh, come on, foil. Why you got to be stuck on the bottom? Sort of loose excessively over the top. You don't really want them sticking to the cabbage at all. You sort of want to give it indirect heat rather than direct heat. Also, I can't hear the music playing without me wearing headphones or stuff like that. I had it going earlier and didn't think about it, but it'll loop over if I play it with my speakers into the microphones. So if you guys don't like or anything, any of the songs, any of that jazz, please feel free. I'm not even hearing it, so. Music should be playing, but it should be rather quiet. Just in the background, just to help keep, I get a little noise from my refrigerator and stuff like that. And I don't want to keep it from people watching other people or stopping from doing other things, but a little ambiance is nice too. Yeah, it's my first time using pretzel rocks, and so I'll listen to the VOD tonight and see if I'm okay with the audio on it. I thought it seemed alright when I started up stuff here. Okay. We can do this. I'll just trust you on it. Everyone else can blame you if it's too loud. Get rid of our protein board. Do a little cleanup here before we jump into making our ice cream base. I'm still here in the Discord. I'm just trying my best to ignore it. Yeah, I get a lot of people saying they're hungry. Grab a fresh one here. Gonna need that, and going to need you again. Thank you, Antelope. Welcome. You're a new name to me, I believe. I've been cooking online here for the last 10 months on Mixer, plus a little bit more here before and after here with Twitch. I do dinner on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. average of 2 to 3 hours. Tonight's going to be a little bit longer because I started hour and a half ago, almost 2 hours, and I've got stuff that I just put in the oven. It's going to be there for another hour, so we're hanging out with that. I'm just getting started on my cherry and buttermilk ice cream. We got cherries that I previously pitted. Did that on Sunday. These guys are huge cherries and nice and good looking. And we're going to start off by making a little bit of a sauce. Actually, I should do this in a different pan. Let's do this in the small pan. Save this for my ice cream dice itself. Okay, so buttermilk, half and half, and butter. I'm gonna need some sugar. I got this little thing of sugar left over that I'm gonna throw in with the cherries. A little bit of water. These are going to get pureed and be sort of like a sauce in with everything. So butter for some extra fat, since I don't have cream or heavy cream for this. We got buttermilk, good old buttermilk, and a fair amount of butter of half and half that had a bunch of solid milk in there that we're using that up. This was at the very end of its life, and this half and half has more fat than your typical half and half, so it's chunky. And let's see, what do we have for sugar in this base? I am using the classic New York Times base here, but I'm totally screwing it up from what it is traditionally. Traditional recipe is 2 cups of heavy cream, 1 cup of heavy milk, or whole milk, 2/3 cup of sugar. I'm gonna add that 2/3 cup of sugar. And salt and egg yolks. But we're going to take our dairy and our sugar and give this a warm up on the stove until it's at a near simmer here. These guys, I'm not sure. Should I just cut these up and fold them in? I think that's what I'm gonna do. I don't think I'm gonna... puree them all up. I think I'm gonna put pieces of cherry in there. There's a lot of cherry for one batch of ice cream though too. Maybe too much here. Might need to find something else to throw some of this into. It's half and half and buttermilk as far as the dairy. Yeah, I almost did another crisp. The last time I had cherries earlier this year, I'd made a chocolate and cherry crisp. I had a bunch of dough left over from when I made the imitation Oreos, and I used the imitation Oreo crust as the crust for a cherry crumble. That turned out pretty good. That was pretty good. Oh, half chunky, half puree. Yeah, there's gonna be some puree here. Like, that's what I've got on the stove going. That's gonna be... I'm gonna blend that up. But I don't think I'm gonna... I was thinking of doing almost 3 steps here, but I think we've got enough of a mess going. These are still looking pretty. They're been kicking around for a little while now. Ooh. That's yummy. I think it's gonna go great with this. Yeah, not as good as I thought it would, but I hear you, Evangeline. I'm just ignoring. I'll figure it out when I finish the stream. I'll go back there to half of the world hating me. I actually think I'm going to throw all these in there. I think I'm going to do that. Now here's the real question. I have milk chocolate chips. Do I throw milk chocolate chips in with the buttermilk and cherries? I'd have to say I'm bigger on cherries and chocolate than I am on mint and chocolate. I still do, but I really loved chocolate covered cherries when I was a kid. It's sort of one of those fascinating recipes where it looks nothing like the result when you make it. Well, it's covered in chocolate, so it's covered in chocolate, but basically put a sugared cherry in the center of it, and once you're done making it and let it sit around for a day or two, it turns into sauce. It's self-saucing. Alcohol dipped chocolate cherries. I don't remember those. did a pretty good job on pitting these. I didn't find a single pit. Good job, Jay. Excuse me. It was on too high. We need you simmering. I can smell that buttermilk tang. So, got the blender going here. Got toss cherries and liquid that I got going. Oh, you guys can't even see the stove. What am I doing here? What are you doing, Jay? We got our cherries with a little bit of simple syrup going here. We got our buttermilk with half and half butter and 2/3 of a cup of sugar. Gonna quick puree up this cherry into a juice. Let's see. Do I have a blender key right now? Do I have a blender key right now? Do I have a blender scene? Nope. So I'm just gonna mute things real quick here, and I will be right back. There we go. Give you a rinse out, put you right back in there. Squeeze out all that cherry juice. Now that would be great to turn into candy if you had a whole bunch of it, but that small amount ain't worth my time. I am going to need this guy later on, so go ahead and use him to. Brandy soak sounds interesting. I almost threw I've got some Applejack. I almost threw a little Applejack with these cherries when I was thinking about it earlier. But decided against that. Decided to keep it non-alcoholic because alcohol can screw with the overall mixture when it comes to ice cream. So we got our liquid, we got our solid, and we got our base. We need to get our eggs going here for our custard. Hopefully I have as many as I thought I do. Oh, just as many as I needed. So I've got my 6 yolks here. Yeah, I could. There's certainly egg whites left over here. I don't know if I feel like whisking that much tonight. Like meringue cookies, they're like eating styrofoam. Yeah, that'd go all right in a meringue.
They talk about another kind of world. Another kind of world.
What are you afraid of?
I'm lost in old ways.
I'm not afraid.
Well, here goes nothing.
Awesome, Cantaloupe. Yeah, I'd love to do some marshmallow. I'd love to do some more meringues and stuff like that. I just don't have the mixer, so have to do it by hand. That's the current donation goal is hopefully going to fix that, though, if anyone's familiar with what that brand is. So I'm hoping to remedy that here in the future, but not expecting that type of money overnight.
What are you afraid of?
Maybe if the government keeps giving it to us.
Lost in old ways.
I'm not afraid.
Meringue I'm more okay with than marshmallows. Marshmallows by hand, no thank you. I don't think you'll see me do meringue marshmallows until I have the mixer here. So we'll give these guys a little bit of whip up just to make sure they're broken up nicely. And let's see how our cream is looking over here. Not quite up the temp there. Gonna wrap up these egg whites and put them in the fridge for later, where I'll promptly forget about them. Maybe I'll be lucky and starving one night and be like, omelet time. I've been getting more and more into fruit here the last decade. I haven't been spending a ton of time at the farmer's market, but I definitely want some pluots. Yum, yum, yum. And again, there's nothing hugely remarkable about this wine. I mean, it's a supermarket base level wine, but it is just jammy fruit and vanilla all the way through. Just yum, 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 yum. So we're waiting to bring this up to a decent simmer here so that we can temper the egg yolks and add them back into this. Started debating right now if I want to add any vanilla or anything along that line in there. I'm not thinking that I do because I want to go with the tangy buttermilk flavor here. I'm not looking for vanilla ice cream. Yeah. Pinch of salt. We can use a pinch of salt. It's a fun process. I don't have a machine that mixes it. I'm gonna sit here and hand crank it, but it's really fun. It's one of those great things to get the kids involved in. One of those group work together items, especially if you got a hand crank churn like I do, which it's not outrageous. It's not hard. It just takes 20 minutes of sitting there. Yeah, if you want to make it really simple, you can just take bananas out of your freezer and blend them. If you got them frozen, they'll puree into just like straight ice cream. I did that on stream before. It came out great. It was the first time I had tried it. That was about a month ago too. I don't think I got any good pictures of it though. I think I sort of like cut it off with everything else going on that night. I've been doing bananas a little bit. Bananas were a huge thing on... There are so many people that love bananas and so many banana themed things on Mixer. So I've been doing a decent number of banana things. Just did banana pancakes the other night. That's in the VODs down below still. Yep, frozen bananas are good. I grew up once every couple of years heading down to Ohio to Cedar Point, and I remember Cedar Point having chocolate-covered frozen bananas in the middle of peak summer. Yep. Yeah, the homemade creamsicle ice creams are so much better than commercial. Well, homemade ice cream just in general is so much better. Because it's fresher and you're probably using better quality, at least I'm using better quality ingredients that you're going to find in the store. And the downside is the texture. Your homemade ice cream is probably not going to have as good of a smooth, creamy texture as your commercial ones, but that's the name of the game for them. They control exactly how much air they whip into their mixtures, and they know exactly what they're getting out of it. Whereas it's a little bit of a guess and trial and error thing when you're doing it at home. Oh, you can. I'm not saying that it's not possible. You're just not going to get the common consistency that you would from commercial guys. Turning the heat up on this a little bit here. It's taking a little too long for my liking. It was practically boiling earlier, and now it's not even making a simmer. Yeah, that's a large part of what I'm doing, Antelopes, is I've really strived, at least for the last 5 years, maybe longer than that, but at least the last 5 years, to minimize the number of hands touching my food from soil to my kitchen. And while I may eat too much, I think I eat much healthier than a lot of other people, if only for that reason, because say what you want, there's one fact that's indisputable when it comes to food, and that's the more hands that touch it, the less safe and the less healthy it is for you. The more hands have touched it, the more it's been stripped out of it, and the more it's been refined and purified, and the more chance it's been to be contaminated by someone that doesn't care. I'm not gonna lie that COVID wasn't part of the reason that I went and got that pig, too. I could probably use a bit more rice and a bit more starches and stuff like that, but I'm set to sit here at home for a long time. Yeah, I was sort of wondering that myself. I didn't want to push on it, though. Are you talking your tap water? Or are you talking filtered water? Are you talking reverse osmosis water? Well, I'm also an advocate that even though we've got brilliant scientists and we have people that have been studying ourselves and the world for centuries, we still don't know anything. We still have people that think or react as though they have allergies to water. I don't know that it just boggles my mind. You see? Yeah. Boggles my mind. I'm sorry that you have that type of an issue. I couldn't I have problems just selectively pulling a couple of things that I don't like out of my diet to be worried about drinking water. Mm-hmm. This is getting smoother with time and with air, by the way. This is getting better with aeration. Which good wines get better with aeration, but typically cheap wines don't improve at all. You gotta be getting close here. This was practically, like I said, this was practically boiling before. Bye-bye. Don't need spam. Create a new account if you want to see me again. Come on, simmer, boy, simmer, pan, simmer. We're waiting on you to simmer. Simmer up. Why you no cook? Get the rest of our ice cream stuff out here. Get my setup going. So we're prepared for everything once our base is ready. Yeah, I'm always a little iffy about the things that you can overcook, and I mean, this is curdling a little bit just because it's buttermilk and half and half that's on the edge, but still iffy about overdoing it. So I've got the container here. This has got a frozen sleeve that I haven't pulled out yet that's going to go in the center of it. I've got the paddle, and then turner, sealing lip, and top. Well, I have the convenience of having two major dairies here, one being the first organic dairy in the US and is mostly California based, the other one being Clover, which has both conventional and organic products, and I think is at least multi-state if not national, and they're both like 30-40 minutes from me. Also got the Rocky and Rosie chickens that you find in all your supermarkets. Those are all here from Petaluma in Sonoma County too. So we have a lot of food coming out of Sonoma County. It's not just all wine. It used to be a lot more. Here in Sebastopol, we're famous for Gravenstein apples, not for wine. And so it's sort of the wine industry has certainly taken over the area, and so we have cases of historic apple orchards now being vineyards, but this is apple territory too. It's not just wine territory. It's also apparently celery territory too, according to climate and region and all that, but I don't see anyone growing celery here. Other than myself and maybe a few small farmers. And I'm trying to get rid of mine. Mine's growing wild. I just don't want it anymore. Our cabbage should be looking, well, I can't look at it right now because I got it covered, but our cabbage should be looking pretty good. We should be about 10 minutes out from that. So that we're lining up okay here with everything. It's going to be a little bit of a longer stream, but we're lining up with everything okay. Yeah, I planted cutting celery like 4 or 5 years ago, and I have one raised bed that I keep, and it has just gone wild since then. I added a yard of dirt over the top, and I sort of smothered it this year, so it hasn't made much of a return, but it's still there, I think. Cutting celery being a celery that's typically, the exact variety of celery is too fibrous for you to want to throw it in a salad or chew on it or throw it in something, but the flavor is amazing. And so you can use the leaves, you can throw the leaves in all sorts of dishes, and then you can chop it up and use the stems, although they're like cutting through sugar cane, for flavor, like for stocks or soups or anything like that. Okay, so now we're up to heat again. Now I cut the heat here, and I'm going to add about 1/3 of this here into our egg mixture to temper the eggs. Yes, they'd be great for seasoning. They have great flavor. I mean, it has some of the best celery flavor I've ever tasted, but you don't want to chew on the stuff. Yeah. All of that back into here. Put that back over the heat here for a gentle warm up to continue thickening up. Grab our, get the last of this good stuff out of there. Getting a little bit melted butter popcorn smell going right now. Oh, it's not worth it if you boil them. It's like I said, it's like if it's like sugarcane basically. Like, I mean, you still got a little bit of softness to it, but you've got heavy duty like fiber going through these. Like you couldn't snap them in half. They'd be like fiber. But it looks like celery otherwise. There's all sorts of veggies and stuff like that that they only grow for commercial operations too, which is sort of a frustrating reality because they can afford to grow a couple. They can afford to pay farmers to grow what they need versus the farmers can't sell it otherwise. I use celery a lot. Well, I use it for, mirepoix reasons. I use it for all sorts of flavorings and backgrounds. And I don't use a ton of it otherwise. The reason that I was really growing it in the first place is I do love using celery leaves for my homemade mayo. Instead of some other, parsley or herb or something like that. It adds that nice light celery flavor, it adds some nice green color. I have friends that are the same way. I don't mind it. I don't do a ton of mayo, but I don't mind it. And I typically make my own mayos. Did one on Wednesday. Did basically made ranch dressing, but without sour cream and without herbs. Did a buttermilk dipping sauce for the corn fritters and roasted potatoes, which was all sorts of yummy. Yeah, it's that. It's probably that heavy oil. I can understand that too. This still hasn't thickened up enough for me, I don't think. So I'm gonna hit this with a bit more heat here. Certainly yellower than I thought, and I'm wondering if the butter added in there is doing more than I thought. You're listing a number of good things there. I love me some chili. I love me some peanut butter. And I could live without Dr. Pepper, but I like me some ranch now and then too, though I'm not like crazy about ranch. Yep, I like me some chili. My only real problem is I can't handle like heavy heat anymore. I can't do those heavy peppers anymore. I used to love spice when I was a kid, and I threw a decent amount of jalapeno in those corn fritters, but it was jalapeno. I sort of throw my line up there at jalapeno nowadays. I do Franks, I do jalapenos, but when you want to start making me do habaneros or something like that, I can live without. Sorry. Like as a kid, I had a cabinet full of the hot stuff. I used to love hot sauce. That sounds like an interesting combo. Dragon eggs. So is it there's no eggs involved, it's just mango and mango marinated pork with jalapeno and cream cheese stuffed inside, sort of a thing? Is a binder then? Or is it like a Scotch egg where you're wrapping the egg with that and then the ground pork and? Okay, yeah. Yeah. I could live without the stuffed jalapeno in that dish, but that sounds pretty tasty. Now we're starting to thicken up a little bit here. I can feel that a bit more with the heat now. Okay, cut the heat on that. Oh, that's a carryover. And cool as it carries over. Cooks as it carries over. Use the heat here as much as possible so that we're not throwing hot liquid directly into my ice cream machine. What type of, you said mango habanero, but is there other spices in there? Is it some type of, or is it just a, like, tomato base otherwise? Lately I've been getting into doing Carolina barbecue. Not necessarily so much the mustard. I don't mind the mustard, but I like that acidity, that that bite to it, and it's stupid simple to make. I mean, it's like ketchup, mustard, vinegar, and sugar. exact recipe because I have a horrible memory, but it is stupid simple, and it's like all stuff that everyone has around their house all the time. So we're gonna take this, I'm gonna add this in towards the end. Hopefully we can get that a little bit streaky, but I think it's a little too loose to, I think it's probably just gonna color everything. And I'm gonna put this here so that the fan blowing at me is blowing on the cream base, so it cools a little bit quicker up here. Still got decent steam pouring off of that, so hopefully this works pretty well for that. I didn't time this very well. This needs to cool down a bit more than I was planning for here. I don't want to throw this hot into my frozen container here, so this is going to take a minute. Bubblegum habanero. That's one I haven't heard of. I know Mario Batali is famous for a pink Skittles or pink Starburst and Red Bull sauce that he uses for pork. Still hungry, by the way. I started off hungry this stream. Texas Gunslinger sauces. I haven't heard of those. Haven't seen those. Then again, I don't look at a ton of sauces these days. Like I said, I'm trying to cut down on the other people making stuff for me. But why don't we take a look and see how our cabbage is doing here. This should need probably, oh, it should be just about done now. But I was sort of thinking I'd give it another 10 minutes here to hang out if I can. Oh, those can go in there a bit longer. They're looking like they're cooked to me, though. The pork looks like it's, yeah, the pork bill looks like it's been cooked. So I think I'm gonna kill the heat on the oven, but I'm gonna throw it back in there to hang out. Yep. I've quit jobs for that reason. We don't need more of that. We got 5 of them in the freezer. Guy comes in with 5 more. Looking a little messy here, but I still think I'm somewhat organized. Got a little bit of a cleanup pile going here. Stove could use some work too, but that'll happen later. Yeah. Doing chicken on Sunday. Got that defrosting already. Still haven't figured out necessarily what I'm doing with it, but I've told people I'm roasting chicken and I'm doing rice, so we're doing roast chicken and rice on Sunday, but I haven't even thought about how I want to do the chicken. Yeah, a lot of people do that, and I don't know, I'm too much of a carnivore. I love me some meat and protein, but I'm also I don't like giving up stuff, so I'm not gonna go on a diet. Sounds like something I might do for the Formula One races here this weekend. Of course, most of that's done now. I should be awake for, I might miss practice 3, but I should be awake for qualifying in the race for these. It's only like 6 a.m. It'll be first thing in the morning, but I'll be awake. It's a problem with these worldwide competitions. They're all sorts of hours. It's also sort of funny watching the F1 people because they're very much in a bubble. You know, the whole NBA thing, they're in a bubble. They're all quarantined and they're all in teams that are quarantined. They're sub-quarantined from each other. And so on different days you see these drastic levels, like the first practice 1 and practice 2. These people are all around each other all the time. They're not worried about anything, and they're not worried about masks or anything like that. And then you get into practice 3, qualifying, and the races, and you start having bosses show up. You have other ones, and all of a sudden it turns into this: everyone's got masks, and everyone's protected, and everyone's. I don't really know. I don't know that any of the science really proves any of these diets are better than one or the other, and I think it's that there's too much diversity in people themselves for basic diets to work for everyone. I mean, I've had friends lose a massive amount of weights and turn from someone that looks like me into a Ironman riding, 20, 50 miles a day, if not a week, using, what do you call it? Forgetting the name of it, but where you're eating nothing but fat and protein. Keto. And it seems to have worked wonders for people that I've met as far as that. Do I think it's going to work for everyone? No. Mediterranean diet works great for some people with, healthy oils and lots of seafood and lots of acidic veggies and it's like I said, I don't think that any diet that we've formulated to date is really usable on a generic level. I think people are too diverse. I think there's too much going on with the difference in diets, difference in what foods you're eating. I mean, you may be cutting things out of your diet, but the things you're cutting out of your diet, you still be maybe eating completely different things from the other people that are on that same diet, is what I'm getting at. I just don't think any of it's accurate enough, close enough, specialized enough. I don't think we're going to get diets down for people really until we start tracking our biome and knowing what type of bacteria we got going in our gut what's major, what's minor, and that's down the road because we have all the genetics coming into things, and some things saying that your weight is controlled by genetics, other things saying that it's not. I'm not saying that I trust any of it, but there's info out there saying one thing and against it. I know that I'm just not active enough. I mean, I eat too much, but my major problem is I'm not active enough. As when I was running my business was when I was the healthiest in my life, at the lowest weight, highest stress, probably worst mental state. But as far as weight and functionality, is probably the best I've been in my life. But that was when I was pulling, 12, 16-hour days to be open for 4 hours at the farmer's market. Glad those days are over, but miss them at the same time. Yeah, now see, I'm getting all out of whack here, I think, with this whole quarantine and staying at home. I'm transitioning here, and I used to be up in the morning every single day, like clockwork, falling asleep at 9, 10 o'clock at night, like clockwork. That is, now I'm like staying up till midnight, 1 o'clock, and then I'm waking up 4 or 5 in the morning like I normally do, or crack of dawn, and then staying up until like 11 or 1, and then taking a nap. And so I've been and there are things, I mean, people in history used to sleep through peak heat and peak darkness, but used to stay up for the morning and evening. And I wonder if I'm settling back into that without even thinking about it, but sort of doing that these days. Just half sleep, half awake. And it's weird because I haven't had issues with feeling overly tired or like I've had sleep issues for years. So let's see how hot this is. Still probably way too hot for me to throw this in there. Yeah, this is still way too hot. Let's think how we can cool this down quicker. Other than pouring it all over my counter here, unfortunately. Yeah. Still way too warm that I want to put it in there. Even with the large flat pan. Nope, that ain't gonna fit. So I'm actually gonna throw this in the other freezer here real quick just to keep cold, because I don't want that to warm up, and I don't have room over here. Hi there. So we'll throw that over there for right now. And you guys get the plant in the view for a little bit here. I don't think I've heard of Bassa or Swai either, but I'm not a huge. I don't mind seafood. I just don't do a lot of seafood. Yep. Good fish for those WD-50 makers. Or WD-40? WD-40. Yep, fatty fish is great for anti-inflammatory. However, at the same time, a lot of people love to put things like tomatoes and onions with their fish, and those are not good. So let's call our cabbage probably done. It's looking good. I'm gonna leave that here to rest on the stovetop. Yeah, that's not a bad combo. I like doing I love throwing a half a lime or part of a lime in with my rice. That's one of my favorite hacks. Cilantro is probably pretty good with that and with fish, yeah. And the odd thing is that even though citrus is acidic, your body treats it like a base, and so it is probably not too bad for someone that's looking to do anti-inflammatory. Now, there's something I haven't toyed with much at all. I haven't toyed with an air fryer, like, at all. Does sound healthy and good. I don't know if I'm really interested in toying with an air fryer, though, either, at the same time. Most people I've talked to are like, yeah, it's great for my frozen stuff, but I'm not buying frozen stuff. Pretty much, I hear bacon, and then I hear, like, pre-made frozen foods when it comes to air fryers. And most of the people raving about bacon are like, I absolutely love bacon in my air fryer, but it's still better in a stove, or in an oven on a... And so I'm like, okay, so you can make bacon quicker in there, but it's still better to do it in the oven on a rack, which is the way I'm going to do it anyways. It's sort of, I mean, I'm not trying to bash on air fryers. I mean, it's sort of like the Instant Pot. Instant Pot is a great dish for people that, you know, want to make their life easier as far as food. But is it something I want to do? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never even used one myself either. I've read quite a bit about them on Antelope, but I've never... Corn dog sounds good. Only reason I'm not doing corn dogs here on stream is I can't make the dogs themselves. I would love to make homemade hot dogs. I just don't have that sausage machine or grinder. It's not too bad. I mean, there's decent restaurants out there that have peanut butter and jelly hamburgers on their menu. I'm not too grossed out by a little grape jelly with corn and pork. Okay, that cooled this down pretty quick here. That's I'm okay with throwing that in the machine now. Hi there. Put our paddle down in there, and then pour our ice cream base in. Yep. I remember those. I've used those a couple of times. The ones where you pack them with ice and salt on the outside. And so I have tried to clear this glass top off. I know this glass top is pretty hazy. I've tried the toothpaste trick, and that worked pretty well for clearing it up, but it's still not clear enough that I think you guys get a good view of what's going on in there. So, but center that a little bit better here, and get spinning here. So we're gonna take about 20 minutes here to slowly spin this until it's nice and thick. Well, it's just got all sorts of micro scratches on it from me scrubbing it clean over the years, and so, I mean, it's probably live without that squeak every now and then, though, right? I'm gonna stop putting downward pressure on it and just turn it now. I think that's what's causing the squeak. I think the plastic in that. Usually takes a good 10-15 minutes of it looking like it's not going to work or do anything, and then the last 5 minutes or so it solidifies up. Yeah, that's maybe something from my list. This isn't broke either at the same time. How you doing, Glass? Welcome this evening. We got our cabbage sitting there underneath the foil on the stove, ready to go, all stuffed up and happy. And just waiting on the ice cream to finish and solidify up. I've got a bunch of cherries here to fill in. I got a little cherry syrup to add in there too. So we're doing, this is the first time I tried doing a buttermilk ice cream, so we'll see how that turns out here too. Speaking of my list, some people were asking about the items on my intro / AFK screen. If you notice, if you catch my intro or my AFK, I'm playing a public domain, essentially infomercial from the 1940s or 1950s. And so all of those items from that now I went and found on Amazon and threw on my Amazon list there that is available through the screen. Well, there was one item that I couldn't find. Though I don't think it's really even pictured in the infomercial. I have no clue what it's describing. Yeah, I get such mixed reviews on that. I want the, I can't even properly pronounce it, the Ankerstrom, that I have as my current tip goal. It's essentially the Swedish version of the same thing, but it allows you guys for streaming to see the full top because the motor's in the base. And it's actually a more powerful motor. But those Cuisinarts are nice too. The actual Ankerstrom, I'm probably mispronouncing it. I don't know the proper pronunciation. It's only like $600 or $700 for itself, but I've got that higher price there because I want that grinder attachment. I want that sausage making attachment. I want the blending. I want all the toys. Surprised I haven't had any of this thicken up at all, though. Well, there's a little bit on the paddle there, I guess, but it's not thickening up very much. I always worry that it's not going to thicken up enough for me. I used to have a little hand blender at some point, but I don't know what I did with that. Might have tossed it out because it was. I think I got it with my trailer. I have a mobile kitchen, by the way, and I think it came with the kitchen when I picked up the kitchen. I find immersion blenders too messy to clean up most of the time. I think a lot of the times I much rather just throw it in a regular blender than, because they're sort of I mean, I don't have a dishwasher, so, but if you're just throwing in a dishwasher, that's one thing, but they're sort of a special cleaning job if you're doing them yourself. Sounds like a lot of changes around your house in the food world since you've been pregnant. Yeah, I've had this guy kicking around for quite a while too. Well, actually, I say that and I don't know where I hit him. There he is. I mean, had him long enough, I've worn out all the writing on it. But I rarely pull that out. I'd much rather just throw it over there into the blender because it just seems, I don't know. Actually, blender's probably more work to clean, but it just seems easier. I'm gonna throw these cherries in the freezer too, because if they're cold, they're gonna help the situation rather than being room temp. We are starting to get there. It is starting to thicken up a little bit. You'll notice that it's ribboning a little bit more than it used to. It's showing up where the paddle is a little bit better. There's a couple of lumps there that are sort of precursors to it sticking the outside. Again, if anyone's not digging any of the music or anything like that, I'm not hearing any of it, but I'd be happy to skip it or change volume levels if anyone's. Should be on pretty quiet still. Yeah, I have seemed to have stopped hearing that noise back behind me. Yeah, that does have that effect. Actually, I'm going to throw the sauce in the freezer too to cool that down too. This needs to sit 1 second. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go see what you put in my Discord. Okay, that's going to take time to study. But good, I need some more food picks from other people. I was feeling a little lonely, just me in there. All that I saw was a picture of ribs, so I'm already hungry. I was hungry before I even started the stream. I want this ice cream to be done so bad just so that I can just mow down on that cabbage behind me. Starting to get that sort of graininess to it that you get of an initial ice cream. I say graininess. You don't want graininess in an ice cream, but it's just sort of how it looks when it first starts to crystallize. Yeah, I need a smoker before I can do that. I do have this great heated speed rack that's an enclosed speed rack that I would love to turn into a smoker one day, but I don't have the space for it here. It's one of those perfect tools for the job that's perfect to be misused. It's got that built-in space heater in the bottom. You just plug it in, you drill a hole in the side, and throw some wood on top. Now we're starting to get some thickness into this. Now this is starting to look a little bit more like an ice cream to me now. Let's see, how does that look? It's not looking too different on stream to me, but it's definitely got a little thickness going now. How we looking here? Wow, it's 7:40. Talk about a long stream. How long have I been streaming tonight? I gotta pull up the odd window here. I can't see like you guys can. The bottom number just at the bottom. It doesn't show it for me. 3.5. I should be able to do the math. I mean, I started at 4:30 and it's 7:40. Starting to get there with the ice cream. Debating whether this is going to need a second freezing or if this is going to be good just with the initial churning. Thinking I'm gonna have to probably call it quits a bit early on this one and mix those cherries in as it cools. Which means the final photo on the ice cream is probably gonna be on Instagram, Discord, and Twitter, but not a part of the stream. Yeah, this is coming together all right though. Maybe we can do that. I'm worried the cherries are gonna... There you go. That's why I stream, so I don't do that. Yeah, I have a pinched nerve in my neck that doesn't bother me very often. It's usually no big deal, but it's been bothering me the last 24 hours or so, and yeah, my neck is not happy right now. Therefore, my left arm and elbow, or left shoulder and left elbow are not happy right now. This is actually thinking it up quite nicely here. I'm actually sort of tempted to throw the cherries in there. I'm a little worried that they're going to loosen it up too much, though. To give you an idea of what we got going on there without the glossy top there. There's some decent thickness there. That was bags of stock dropping out of my freezer. For anyone curious, that are probably now going to have to be defrosted, especially because their bags are probably shredded now. Let's try adding our cherries in there. Not sure we want to add all of those in there. Sure thing. Like I said, you can throw them in the suggestions page. I'm always looking. Once every couple of weeks here, I come up with a chef's or cooker's block. Can't come up with new ideas. So, and it's actually something that I was just about to start doing a monthly giveaway on Mixer just before they cut the cord, and that's something I might bring back again. One of the things I was doing for the giveaway was choosing a dinner, along with a number of other things. Well, it depends on your definition of bone broth. I've made stock many times. I've made stock on stream many times. And so I have both pork and chicken stock since I started here on Twitch. And I've done lamb stock and several others that are all from my Mixer days. And all of those, whether the chicken one may still be in the VODs down below, but all of them are available on my Patreon. Already there for you to search and skip through as you like. I haven't done beef and I haven't done veal because of ease of availability. I don't have a good source for veal around me. Well, veal, it's typically really hard for you to get on a small scale basis because veal is made by dairy producers. And so this did loosen up a little bit, and I don't think this has the ability to continue to cool it down, and so I'm going to switch to the freezer at this point. I'm going to put this in a container and throw this into the freezer and continue to stir it once every 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, that sort of a deal. Unfortunately, that means that I won't be finishing up the ice cream here on stream. Hi there. Oh yes, cabbage rolls are coming soon here. So we have our mostly soft ice cream here, and get that all back in here. Nice thin container so it cools down evenly a bit better than if it was in a giant mass. It's tasty. Not done. Close, but not done. Okay, cabbage. Cabbage. Spoon. Let's use our spatula. Ice cream here. Now you want tacos? Yeah, let's go for 3. That's not looking too shabby to me. What do you guys think? Give you the up and close look here. Do the close-up look here on the interior, nice and cooked through. I'm not that big of a fan of parsley. I don't mind parsley. I just have that whole mentality of it's a thing you put on a plate that says the chef's seen it. It's not a just a generic. It's not something that's really a part of the plate in my mind a lot of the time. What we got in the stuffed cabbage, it was a combination of jasmine rice. I've got a thin layer of pork on the outside, so it's cabbage with a layer of a thin slice of pork, and then there's chopped cooked pork, onion, and jasmine rice. And then we've got mirepoix with tomato, pork stock, and some other flavors here going on in the sauce. Should be some good yumminess here. Take a photo here for the Discord and Instagrams. Oops, need my knife in there. Alright, and so I'll throw up pictures on Instagram, on the Discord, on Twitter, all that fun stuff. That will be later on though, because I'm gonna wait until that ice cream is ready. Give you guys a photo of that along with it. So that'll be a bit later on tonight. Let's see who's on that we can show some love to. Oh, well, let's go say hi to Rhino. I'd like to thank all you guys for joining me this evening. I had great fun. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me. I'm gonna go and enjoy the rest of this cabbage and this wine, and I'll have ice cream a bit later. Oh, welcome, Trigger. Sorry, it was a bit of a late stream for me tonight, but we'll be back here on Sunday. Same time as usual, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, 12:30 Greenwich. And I'll be doing chicken and rice of some sort. I haven't completely decided. I've got a whole chicken down there to roast in some form. Just haven't thought it through. So I'd love to see you guys then. And let's go say hi to Rhino Lion and watch a little pottery being made. I spent a lot of time hanging out in his chat. Cool dude. Hope you all say hi to him for me. Have a great night.